Can I share something with you?
Sure.
I don't think a lot of people know this, but I mean, if you've been listening to the show for any amount of time, I mean, I was a very overweight kid. Um, and when I was 17, I was about 50 pounds heavier than I am now, but 50 pounds heavier on me now would look differently than it did back then because like I never lifted a weight my entire life and I ate Nestle Crunch bars like they were going out of style and Little Debbie's and I was the fat kid, right? I had the man boobs and everything. And I was like a target for being bullied and it was awful. And I was raised most of my adolescent childhood by a single mom. So I had no clue how to fight, like not even the slightest clue. And I was bullied like relentlessly on the playground. And the only thing that I had to defend myself was, verbally, right? Which I sucked at that too. I had no idea how to talk my way out of something. The only thing I knew how to do was be completely terrified that I didn't know what to do. Like literally, that was the only thing on my mind. I'm terrified because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. And if this gets physical, which a lot of times it did, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how to punch somebody. I have no idea how to kick somebody. What do I do if someone tries to punch me? What do I do if someone takes me down? I have no idea how to get out of it. Like all these horrible things would go through my mind, and it was like I would freeze. It's fight or flight. Instead, for me, it was fight, flight, or freeze, and I would freeze. And I just remember that was just such an uncomfortable place for me to be. And I wanted so bad. I'm like, man, I just wish somebody would teach me this stuff so I could learn how to defend myself. And it was hell going to school. And I always told myself it wasn't until I got into college that I was like, I really want to learn. Like at that point, I had no more problems being bullied, but I was like, I really want to learn this stuff. Well, then fast forward now, 20 years later, I have a 13-year-old now, and my 13-year-old he's a little guy for 13, very skinny, and he is a target, man. I mean, he is the sweetest, most empathetic, amazing kid, plays the saxophone. There isn't really, he's not the most athletically built kid as far as like soccer and baseball. He has no interest in that. And that's fine. Hey, it's like you want to play an instrument, go for it. But unfortunately, like there are kids that mess with him. So the one thing that I've learned about my son is that team sports is just number one, he's not interested in it. So I'm not going to like try to force baseball or football or something like that down his throat. But he does enjoy single, like one-on-one sports. He wasn't too keen on wrestling, but he loves to punch and he loves to kick. So he's like, I want to go learn Taekwondo. And I was like, you know what? And nothing against all you guys who have your kids in Taekwondo. I did Taekwondo for years too, and I did Kuk Sool, which is a derivative of Taekwondo as well. I think it's very effective. But I told him, I was like, you know what? I've done Taekwondo. I did it for years. Let's go learn something new together and something that could be super effective. And God forbid you ever need it. It kind of trims away some of the more traditional things that you may or may not use, and it gets right to it. And that's Krav Maga. So we did that. We've been doing it now for quite some time, and it's outstanding. And the greatest thing about it is unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, is because he had to use it the last day of school. And I was so proud of the way he handled himself. There was this kid that had just messed with him all year long, and my son's one of those kids, man, that he will not inflict any harm on you unless he feels like threatened, like complete. I'm talking like I'm going to get hurt. It's either me getting hurt or you. So this kid kept slapping him like bam, like on the back of his neck, like coming up behind him, just popping him, over and over, and just rattled him. And my son looked at him and is like, and in tears, he goes, "If you do that to me one more time, I'm not going to deal with it anymore. I'm going to hit you back. I'm just warning you." And this kid, of course, was like, "Oh yeah, whatever. You're a big whatever." And I won't say the whatever part. So they're out on recess. Comes up behind him, just just pops him. My son turns around and just cracks this kid in the midsection with a punch that he learned, the proper way to do it. And this kid dropped. Like he said, he was like, "Dad," it was like almost in slow motion. Like he like held his stomach and he was so stunned and he just kind of toppled over. And Philip's laughing about that. Yeah. And he's like, and the guy got up He shook my hand and he apologized and never messed with it. And that was it. It was done. But I was like, dude, I got to tell you, man, you spent the entire year trying to talk your way out of that. And then you went to the extreme of giving the kid a warning, like, hey, don't do that. And he did it. And now he's not going to mess with you. And by the way, I think it's great that you midsection punched him instead of like trying to take the kid's head off or breaking his nose. You sent the message. You protected yourself. The cool thing is that if he tries to do that to other people and you're around, he's going to view you kind of now more as the sheepdog, right? He's the wolf, you're the sheepdog. So I just want to share that story with you because I think this is so important and it's so overlooked.